Welcome. Welcome to the University of Shiloh. We're inviting everyone in the world, on the planet, to join us today. We are inviting those in the world. They do not have to join us. But we are inviting all nations on this planet by way of social media's Facebook, which we are live. And eventually, we're also recording for social media's YouTube to download on YouTube. That they will be able to watch the video so they can see what we are doing and building the kingdom, preparing the kingdom of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, as it was prophesied to happen in the book called Daniel, in chapter 2, and verse 44. So we are welcoming those, and we are inviting those on this planet, the nations, 192 that are registered with the United Nations, to join us in our third session of the University of Shiloh, prophetical. Now they don't have to, again, they do not have to join us, but they are welcome, as I promised that they are invited in the book called Micah in chapter 4. All nations are welcome. And some are going to join us. Some are now beginning to wake up and realize who's here. We're going to go to that scripture in a minute. But right now, I'm presenting a welcome, benediction, giving those a chance who are just waking up in some parts of this country, as we are actually broadcasting live. Even if you are watching the recording, this is being broadcasted live and recorded live stream on Facebook, in the country that is called the United States of North America. And we are in the state, one of those 48 states that is connected, united, connected. There are 48 states connected. This may be education for those who don't know anything in the United States, maybe in Africa, or a country in Africa someplace, we don't know. There are 48 states that are connected from state line to state line. 48. 2 of the 50 in total are not connected. That's Alaska and Hawaii. And then they adopted Puerto Rico. But we're in the state, the most southern state on the east coast of the United States, that's called Florida. It's shaped like a Hebrew character. Actually 2. One is Kaf Sophie, the final Kaf Sophie. Florida is shaped like Kaf Sophie. It's also shaped like Wab. So we're in that state. And the city that's spiritually been referred to in the Bible as holy, the holy city, known as Miami. Internationally known throughout the world as Miami. That's where we are recording from and broadcasting from. And I'm here, I'm your host of this university, nonprofit. I'm the professor and I'm also the dean of this university. And this university is free, no tuition. We do have tuition, but we do not pay money. You don't have to pay money. This is this is into of a lot who are wishing. This is intuition, because there are a lot who are wishing that they can be here with us today. The 2 of us. the God of the heavens and the God of the earth. But we're in here, in Judah, Yehuda. That's the only intuition that exists in this university. Again, intuition. According to the promise of my Av made, that many are still calling Yahweh, even Ben Yahweh. He promised Judah and all of Israel that you sow yourselves for naught, according to Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 3. You sow yourselves for naught. Therefore, you shall be redeemed without money. So this university is free. This is a law school. I have a few students that are here with me. They're also called angels, that are of and from the social lodge, that are law students. They were prophesied to be here today with me, to be and become the law students. They're also known in biology as people, biological people, and they're being gathered together today. Also prophetic. We're going to show you what that is in a moment. As I continue to welcome those who may have just joined us, even if you're watching the recording, welcome to the University of Shiloh, the first and only of its kind ever. Needless to say, this greeting goes out only to the nation of Yodid Waheh. As others are welcome, the other nations are welcome. But this greeting of Shalom Aleichem, goes only out to the nation of Yodid Waheh, also known as Yisrael, formerly known as Yishra Yahweh, Yushi Resh Aleph Yodid Waheh. A name that was supposedly to be forgotten and cut off from your nation, according to Psalm chapter 83, beginning at verse 1 through 5. That said, as a group of conspirators got together in Europe, continent of Europe, and the Middle East, let us cut them off from being a nation. Let us cut them off from being a nation. The name of Yishra Yahweh, Yushi Reshal of Yodid Waheh, would be no more remembrance. Well, behold, someone remembered. He had not forgotten. And now that someone has remembered, he is going to bring things back to your remembrance, just as promised. And so you will also become law students, lawyers, the law of yours, Judah, Israel. So welcome to the only nation that exists with the University of Shiloh, Shalom Aleichem. And that means all 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, Yishra Yahweh. And of the Central Lodge, welcome. And this is the only innovative nation of Yodid Waheh. Innovative, I-N-N-O-V-A-T-I-V-E, the innovative nation. Look it up, study it, study that word. That's why I spelled it for you. I spelled it again from left to right in English. I-N-N. So you're in school, let's get busy. They cannot see you, they're going to hear you, but they cannot see you. They only see who was prophesied to see, according to Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. That's who they're seeing. Every eye shall see him, but they will not see you, neither will they see me. Innovative, I-N-N-O-V-A-T-I-V-E. That means you now have your composition books out. You're going to take notes. This is session number 3. Nothing changes because we're sharing this class with the world, the planet Earth, the planet that's called Earth. This is the only innovative nation of Yodid Waheh in existence. That means it's advanced. It is advanced. And the original children of Yodid Waheh are present. The original children. Right? Okay, that's according to Deuteronomy. Make a note. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1. We're not going to read that. Just make a note. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1. The original blood lineage of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh himself that come from his loins. Blood lineage, from his blood lineage. Even beginning with who they call Adam. Every child of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh that's called children come from the loins of Adam. Make a note. You can read it in the book called Luke, they call it the New Testament. The Luke Testament, chapter 3, beginning at verse 23. And they are the celestial pioneers of Palestine. That's right, Benny, Benjamin, Netanyahu, I'm speaking to you, you can see recording. My people, the 12 tribes of Israel, especially Yehuda Yahweh, Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, are the original pioneers of Palestine. Original. So I say to them, Echlakim Shalom, to all of ye and you. Benny, not you. You're a devil. You are false. You are an impostor. And you are sin. You are a sin of Gog, who's also Satan. Let me make that clear. That's for the record. I left record of that. That's why I said for the record. You can read in your King James Version Bible the book called Revelation. It's called Revelation. That's not what it is. Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. And that's after you pass chapter 2, verse 9. Same thing. You are the sin, S-I-N, of O-F, God, G-O-G. It was hidden in the synagogue. So you will seem innocent in your synagogue, also called a temple. You are a temple liar. So welcome to our Thursday's edition, Thursday morning, here on the East Coast of the United States, of class. And this is law session number 3. That means we just got started. And just as the previous class session that we had on yesterday, this one is being presented to the angels and servants of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh by the authority of our solar time. Solar time. Which is now the middle of the 22nd day. We are now in the middle of the 22nd day of the first month of our next year, from the previous year. Our days begin at sundown. That means that, for the record, for those who are studying, keep up now, students. For the record, our year began 22 days ago at sundown, which is known by the Gregorian calendar as Wednesday. Wednesday, March 11th. Actually, the 10th. From Wednesday, March 10th to Thursday, March 11th was the first day. And because of another prophetical promise that was prophesied to occur today, we did not add 5 days on to that calendar. Why? Because the days were shortened. I'm going to ask the student to read that, just for the record, so the world will know that we no longer govern our lives by the Gregorian calendar that has 365 days. 365 days. That would be a mark. We'll read both verses. The first is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 22. Read that, please. For the record, this school, university, welcome. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 22. Nice and loud, please. We want to make. Read that.
Matthew 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
That's clear. Now, you may have read that and looked at it, but you couldn't see it. That means that this day and these days were reserved for the elect's sake, not for no other people. We invited them, but not for your sake. So for all of those to whom this does not pertain to, you can go ahead and add 5 days. It doesn't pertain to you. This shortened was for the elect's sake. That way they will be saved. Their lives will be saved. If not, if those days were not shortened, then no flesh will be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days were shortened. And some of those who were elected are of Yehuda, but they just want to continue to follow Benjamin Netanyahu. Realizing or not realizing, of course, that my father, Arab in Hebrew, as I will always introduce him to you and ye. And if you could look at the monitor of your screen, you can look over my left shoulder. Don't be confused with left to right. Now, this is school. Learn. Look over my left shoulder to the right of the screen. I am facing you. And since I'm facing you, then look to your left. And you'll see my right. Now, when you look to my left, then you'll see your right. And it's the military. They probably want to come and get a little bit of this lesson too. Flying over here, you probably heard the chopper, the green military chopper. Again, look over my left shoulder to the right of the screen that you're facing, and you will see a photo, image, and color of my arm. Yod, Hei, Wahe. In English, known as Yahweh. And to the hard-headed children of Judah, you know that Yahweh and Yahweh. So they even put it all together to Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Okay, I can't even say it. They created a name for him. Yahweh, Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh. No, he's Yahweh. He told him that. The mighty God. Yahweh. Yod-Heh-Wahe. So we go by his order, the celestial order, and we fulfill prophecy by shortening those days from 365 to 360 as ordered, as prophesied. Why? Because sometime way before the second coming, see, this is the third coming, way before the second coming of who they call the Christ, they added those days to continue to rule Julius, Caesar, Augustus. They added 5 days onto the 12 months. That's why your calendar right now is lopsided. We just left 1 month that was known as March. They marched right on out of here, right into the April. But that first month of their calendar, known as January, Jan, who was weary to even bear them, January, had 31 days. And then they give my people, that's known as African Americans, they gave my people known as Judah, Yehuda, African Americans, something to remember themselves by of their history. They called it American Black History Month. And then they shortened that. They didn't give them too much of that to remember. 1 year is 28 days, another year is 29 days. They stole 2 days from that month and placed them in the next month, March. 31 days. And here we are now in the first day of April, and because my people did not know this knowledge, they call them fools. So they say, April Fool, it's your April Fool, your April Fool Day. Here's your only April Fool Day, in April, which is going to have 30 days. In the next month, May, 31 days. And that's until you become a June bug of the spring, actually summer. June bug, they only give you 30 days in June bug. And then tell you after that, you say, no, it has 31 days. No, you're a July. You're a July. You are a Jew, you lie. Right, Benny? July. A July. That was named after Julius Caesar, his month, with his birth date is recorded. And because he wanted to celebrate his birth date month a little longer, he added a day. July, 31 days. There's a school now, University of Shiloh. And here comes his successor, Augustus. And when Augustus found out what Julius Caesar did by adding a day to his month of birth, Augustus said, hell to the no, I'm going to add me one too, so I can extend my celebration. And that is one of several reasons why the only 2 months of 12 have 31 days back to back. Look on your calendar, July and August, as they became the Septuagint of their own biography. July, Julius Caesar, and Augustus, August. Septuagint of September. Did they come to birth? See, then you got the birds that followed. You got the birds that followed Augustus, Ber, B-E-R, the birth error rate, and the birth error rate. And that's with Sept, Oct, Novem, and Decem. 4 European devil rulers, kings, judges. Septem, which is 7. Septem means 7. Octo means 8. Novem means 9. And Decem is 10. So why do you think December is the 12th month? Study, you're here to learn. You're here to learn. They didn't have the B-E-R at the end a few years ago. They were only known as Septem 7. Septem, septuplet 7. Octo, the octo, like octopus, 8 tentacles, 8. Then you have Novem, which is 9. We'll know all of them, Novem. And then Decem, which means 10. The 10 judges of Europe that judged people and killed them. After Norad, actually, African emperor. And you celebrate his birthday. What's his name? You remember? Whose birthday is celebrated December 25th? They think it's... You got your nose. You should know this. Nimrod. Come on. I just told you missed it. Nimrod. NORAD. Nimrod. Then the United States government of Canada stole NORAD to make it the aerospace defense force. Study NORAD, N-O-R-A-D. They think it means the National Joint of Canada and the United States of the Air Force security, tracking UFOs. It's a lie. It's hitting on this, something else. You know, some things I will share with the world, other things I just share with you off the recording, off the record. But we shortened those days. Right back to 12 months, 12 perfect months, 12, with 30 perfect days in each month equals 360. Do the math. What they did was when they took those extra days, they added them on to January, count them, January, March, May, July, August, October, December. How many counted? Count it again. I mean, they cannot see you, but they can hear you. It seems like I don't want them to think I'm in here alone. I'm by myself. But I'm not in here alone. So count them from January, students. How are you going to be a lawyer you don't know how to count? Or don't know what month you're on the calendar or the docket for your preliminary hearing? Or your arraignment. If I say we're going to have an arraignment on the 22nd day of the first month, and you don't know how many days in that month. Even by that calendar, because we have to go by that calendar too. It being that we're still in this land. You have, look at your months of the year of their calendar, Gregorian calendar, and look at the number of months that has 31 days. What do you have? How many months? I mean, you're looking at me like I'm a television movie star actor. I'm not acting. You in shock? Oh, you must see something I cannot see. How many? 7. Isn't that true? 7 months with 31 days. Okay, all right. Hold on now, Professor. So some still think I'm Mika. Look at Mika. What Mika trying to teach? He's trying to teach. Okay, let me give this a try. You counted 7 months with 31 days. I said that the 5 days were cut off from 365. So how come it's not 367? It was 7 months with an extra day. Duh. Making wise and simple. It's the law. The law of Yod He Wahe is perfect. The testimony of Yod He Wahe is sure, making wise the simple. I am sure about what I'm about to say. That becomes simplicity. The reason why you have 7 months instead of 5 is because they took 2 days from February. And then they leaped over that every 4 years to try and keep up with the correct time. They call it leap year. That's why you count every 28 years to come back to a perfect balance. That means someone in Revelation has a pair of balances in his hand, according to Revelation chapter 6, verse 5. And he's here too. So when you add the 2 days back to February, you only have 5 months with 31 days. That's the 5 that we shortened and took off and will not add. Some of my people right now today are celebrating what they think is Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's why they're going to continue to eat unleavened bread that has no yeast to keep them flat on their backs and on their minds, that they will never rise. Staying flat, dead in the graves, will not rise. Well, yet, my arm said, rise, Judah, rise from your graves. And yet, they're carrying on the tradition of Benjamin Netanyahu and his faggots and going to eat unleavened bisbah, whatever they call it. And lamb, eat bloody lamb. Make a salad with lettuce and vinegar. They think it's a bitter herb, not realizing that the bitter herb is where they're living right now in this land. It's a wilderness of herb, bitterness. We want to get to that. In fact, they don't even know what Passover is. You read Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. Now go to Mark chapter 13. And let's see that has now been fulfilled. Since I just went over that again. You must know as lawyers the correct time. You're going to be late for your own docket. That sits right outside the courtroom every day. You look at the docket to see who is to be in court and what case you have on that day. I believe, is it verse 20? What verse is it? Mark chapter 13. We had the present tense, now we're going to go to the past tense. And what we did about 3 weeks ago, it shortened those days. It was shortened it. In fact, that was done years ago. I did that about 4 years ago, didn't I? And some say, oh no, I'm going to continue to do what Yahweh ben Yahweh said do. He said add 5 days. It's in his math book. Yes, it's in the math book. Because the math book is all over this planet. And what did he do? Deceived the devil. That's in prophecy too. They thought that Hillel, also known as Lucifer, also known as Donald John Trump Sr. and Jr., they thought he is the best deceiver, the world's greatest deceiver. Well, yes, you're right. He is the world's greatest deceiver and liar. Ma'ab is not a liar. Ma'ab is not a man that he should lie. Neither the son of man that he shall repent. But Ma'ab is the greatest deceiver in existence. He created deception. So what would bound him to deceive him? But he will never deceive his children. But he will deceive Hillel, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, because he wants to take over. He wanted to in heaven. And I'm just like him. I deceive the devils. Even when I shake their hand, that's a lie. I'm deceiving them. They think I'm shaking their hand. I'm shaking their soul to death. Would you read that, please, in Mark chapter 13?
Mark 13, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And except that Menyokoff Yehowape had shortened those days.
Wait, had shortened? They better catch up. They best catch up. And the reason why they're celebrating Feast of Passover Unleavened Bread this week is because they added 14 days. As if Ma'am and myself went to Moshe and said, have the children of Israel ready 14 days after we're going to sneak you out on the first night. We're going to sneak you out in the dark at night out of Egypt while Pharaoh and his punks are sleeping. So have your children, have all of Israel, all 600,000 men, that does not include the children, ready to move. Exodus. The movement of the people. Right, Bob? Robert? So wait now, because that's confusing. The first day, the month of Beer, I want you to be ready to get out of here. But wait 14 days until Pharaoh wakes up and see that you're going to be moving so he can stop you and kill you. See, if that was the case, and Ab said wait 14 days, then I believe that from the first day to 14 days, everyone in Egypt would know that they get ready to leave. Just like this calendar, everyone knows on this calendar that they go on by, governing their lives by. Governing their lives by, not their lives. Everyone knows on the calendar how to look for the children of Israel, the tribe of Judah, the United States to be celebrating the Passover, and how to stop them, and maybe have time to give them the vaccine shot, the COVID-19 shot, to stop them from doing that. Some of them are so proud, telling me, I got my shot today. In fact, I got both. I got both of my shots today. All of it. All of the olive oil and water that they put in the needle. Maybe mixed with a little corn syrup. Just a little drop of corn syrup with olive oil and some water. You think it's a COVID-19 vaccine shot that's going to stop you from dying in this plague. he had already shortened the days. He had already done that. But they want to wait 14 days after that to celebrate Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. What else did he do? There's another angel's voice here. What else did he do?
No flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he hath chosen, he hath shortened those days.
Already. That means our Passover was at the same time that the first day of the first month began, for 7 days. That way, we were like thieves in the night. We had already recognized who Passover is. And we put on a new lump. And we did not eat unleavened bread. We had leavened bread because we put on a new mind. We took off the old lump. Just like and as my Father commanded us to do. That he wrote in his book and published it for Judah to obey. One of 50 appellations that he put in that book. And Judah is so hard-headed. Again, this is the beginning of, actually the middle of the 22nd day. Our first day began from sundown March the 10th, to sundown March 11th. That was the first day. And that was also our first night of recognizing Passover, as we passed right over them. And that would also be the first month, or actually the third month of that calendar, March. And as a reminder, this day, this is still Thursday, at sundown, from sundown Wednesday, that means from sundown Wednesday to sundown Thursday is our Shabbat. Our Shabbat rotates every 360 days. It rotates to the next day. You got it? Why? Because the date rotates of the calendar. Now something that this week is Passover, that whatever they did 14 days after they added 5 days is Passover. Now let's show you what your father did, and what he ordered you to do. Now someone read, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Lawyers, you're a bunch of lawyers. You're not attorneys. I'm not training attorneys. I'm not going to teach attorneys. Because if I train you to become and teach you how to become attorneys, then you would turn on me. I had enough of that already. You're going to relive that. Oh yeah, you turn on me. I don't want anyone to turn on me again, especially Judah. Might as well get a little comfortable. We're going to be here for another few months or so. No man knows the hour of the day or the time that my hour will come. Someone read verse 7 of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, please.
1 Corinthians 5, verse 7. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven.
Stop it. Pause. This scripture that you are reading is in this book. It's in this book. My aunt wrote this book. Title, And Introduction to Hebrew, the language of God, Yohewave. Now notice in the front of the book, to the bottom, where the authorship is usually located, it does not have by. By. See, you didn't even notice that. He ordered that like that. It doesn't say by Yohewave, Yohewave. It just has Yohewave, Yohewave. That means God and the Son of God. God, the Son of God. Cannot be both. And either he's God or he's the Son of God. Now, you can't even make up your mind which one you choose for him to be, because he already is. And while you're trying to make him to be, he already was. That's why in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with him. And the Word is him. So whatever you want him to be, that's your choice. And you can fantasize all you want. You have the right to fantasize. You can make him whatever you want him to be in your mind. But you can't, your mind does not bring us back to reality. You can make him be what you can, if you wanted him to be your mama, you can do that. You have the right. It's your mind. It's your fantasy. Just like you go to Disney World and you shake hands with a rat and take a picture with a mouse. You can do that, and a goofy dog. And you can come back, go back to your city where you dwell. You don't live there, you dwell there. And you can put your black hat on and show people you've been to Disney World with your ears sticking up like some rat in the ghetto. That's exactly what it is. So you can make him whatever you want to make him, but you can't change who it is. He's God. And not just God, he's the mighty God. He told you that. I was sitting in front of him when he was telling him that in the temple. And that's why he put it here. And the reason why, not a reason, the reason why you still call him that is because you don't want to purge out your wickedness and your evilness, your rudeness. Read that part again, please.
Okay. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven.
So you don't want to purge out your old leaven. You want to continue your old leaven. So because you want to continue your old leaven, then you will die with the old evilness and wickedness of this world. You don't want to purge it out. Well, it's going to be a purge. You're going to purge it out. They're going to purge you out all right. They call it the purge, don't they? Okay, you're going to have it's going to be a purge. It's coming. Inside that purge, they also call it dearth. It's coming. Because you're still rude and hard-headed. You didn't preserve food like he told you to. Why you think they're giving out food banks all over the country? They know it's coming. Those who are wise, you try to find the bank, the vault, and the safe to get some food. Wherever they are in the corners, you better stock up. You better stock up. And water. And gas mask. And silver or gold if you can afford it. The computers are going to be shut down. Soon they're only going to be accepting cash. Some stores you go to now will say we're short of cash. Please have the exact change. When you go to one of these or all these businesses with no power, you're going to see a sign on the window, cash only. No computers. How could you put your chip inside the machine from your debit card? There's no computer. And after that, they take out the money. And what do you have? No cash, no credit cards, no checks. The only thing that you can have for merchant exchange, of commodity exchange, for food exchange, is silver or gold, or both. Silver and or gold. But you're hard-headed. You know how this world ain't going to end. Don't you know we get ready for baseball season? I can't wait to see the NFL draft. I wonder if they're going to get that boy who played for the University of Nowhere. The University of Nothing. That running back, run away back to nothing. Why do you think they call them running backs? Running back to slavery. They do. And he gets a ball from the quarterback. He's going back too. But he's only going to go to a quarter of the way back. While the running back tries to get to the goal of nowhere. And then the United States government gives them a point of only 6 if they make it cross the line, the state line. And they're going to be state troopers that'll stop you from going across the state line. Right? And then they're going to penalize you for that. They will. They're going to penalize you for that. Talk about safety. It's just safety. And if you can't get across the line, then you're going to try and jump over it. You're going to try and go over the goal and hope you don't go outside of it. Outside the field. And they give you a field goal. And only half the points. Why? Because you're half the man that you start out to be. And you're trying to defend yourself with a lineman. Can you imagine? So the world is not going to come to an end. Even as they have the NBA Finals. This year there may be it's going to be an NBA Final. Oh, this is going to be the real year, the true year of the NBA Finals. I guarantee you. This is the 40th year from 1981 when God circumcised his son in the temple. And this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. I promised that. It's in my diaries. Purge out the old lump. Read that again for the beginning, please.
Okay. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven.
The old leaven.
That ye may be a new lump.
That's a new lump. L-U-M-P. L-U-M-P. You must become a new lump. A new learner of the University of Mika. And become a professional. L-U-M-P. A lawyer. A lawyer under my plans. L-U-M-P. Oh, you want me to go on? I can give you several more words under L-U-M-P. I can. Even as I leave you murmuring among yourself to the people. Yeah, I will leave you murmuring to the people. L-U-M-P. So look up, meditate, and pray. L-U-M-P. Look up, meditate, and pray. Of your new lump. And what else?
As ye are unleavened.
Wait. They are unleavened?
Okay.
Can you imagine? Here we have the hard-headed children of Judah. Yehuda Yahweh, Yaakov, Jacob, Israel, Yahweh. Continuing the tradition that the Jews put in the book for them of the Septuagint, even the King James Version Bible, the Torah, to wait 14 days after the first day, after you add on 5 days, to continue to eat unleavened bread that they already unleavened. So you must remain unleavened instead of putting on the new lump. What? Did I hear that right? I don't have my Bible. You're reading for us who don't have a Bible in front of them. I don't have mine. Would you read that again, please? That part.
As ye are unleavened.
You are already unleavened, so why you continue to eat unleavened? Just stay that way? They think it's a law. It's not a law, it's an ordinance. It was an ordinance back then for a reason. If it was a law, then I'll be doing it, because I'm the law. Shiloh.
Yeah.
Welcome to the University of Shiloh, the lawgiver. And what else?
For even Hamashiach Membiot Kaf Yorewabe, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
No, goodness gracious. Okay. Serious. See, the way you read that just now, you read that being awakened. You are awakened. You're not fully awake, but you have been awakened. So you read that, and it being that we are sharing our class this morning with this planet. You read that according to how you were taught, because your mind is opened. The veil has been removed from your heart and your mind. Now, I want you to reread that again on their level, right, terrestrial level, not the celestial level. Read it verbatim.
Top.
From the top.
Okay.
From the beginning.
Purge out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
That's what Passover is. Not him. This is not our Passover. Why? Because we already passed over him. You're right. You passed over him. That's the old lump. This is the old lump. This is the old lump. The old liar. You memorized, people. This is the liar you memorized, people. L-U-M-P. Liar, you memorized, people. So put on the new one, Passover. We just thought we'd share that a little bit with you. Our subject this morning is not Passover, because we passed over it. But we're in our Sabbath right now, Shabbat, from sundown today to sundown. Well, actually from sundown yesterday and last night to sundown today. And that's from night to night. So when you count, here's how you count. We count, our day begins at sundown. That way you'll know how to fix your calendar when you have a deposition. You're going to give a deposition, or you're going to make an inquiry. You want to have an arraignment. The judge gives you an arraignment date and time. Arraignment determines if you're going to go to a pretrial, if you have enough evidence to go to a pretrial. Just because you go to a pretrial, it don't mean you're going to go to trial. The arraignment is just to see if you have enough evidence to go to a pretrial, to gather witnesses. If you have enough witnesses, take a deposition. Take statements. Did the police take statements from witnesses? Were there witnesses? Are there video security cameras available? By the mouth of two or more witnesses you've established, now you're established in your arraignment that you have enough to go to pretrial. If not, you're not going anywhere. Not to pretrial. I mean, the person, the defendant, the defendant, which is actually an alleged suspect, but once in custody becomes a subject. Once he sits in court, he becomes an ant who has to defend himself, because a lawyer or defense attorney may turn on him. So now he has to go pro per sometimes. And he may be guilty. He may have been the one to do it, who did it. But you don't have enough evidence. You don't have no witnesses. And all of a sudden, I'm being forced to hit the gavel. Boom, case dismissed. You may go, murderer, John Hawkins. And all 46 presidents, all 45, all 46 from Washington, you're free to go. You murdered my people, held them in captivity and bondage, you hung them on trees, you burned them at stakes, you put your knees on their necks in the street, you choked them out, you strangled them to death, you shot them 6, 7 times in the back because their tail light was out. You drowned them in ocean waters for shark meat and bait. You, who are the possessors, find yourselves not guilty. According to Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. You're free to go. Why? You don't have enough evidence. No witnesses. Well, guess what? Ye are my witnesses, and my servant whom I have chosen, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the east that I chose ye, that they may know that they will not get away.
Praise you.
Praise you, Allah. They will not get away. The destroyer of the Gentiles is here.
Praise you.
And I come to judge. Oh, you didn't know that? We're going to get to that in a minute. You didn't know that? I'm the judge. See, the reason being that there is a beam in your eye, because you didn't know that. There's a beam in your eye. Now, we're going to go a little bit, we're going to do a little reiteration from yesterday. You took notes. So let's start with Genesis chapter 49. Let's show them what's going on here. We're going to share with them a little bit of our class from yesterday, reiteration. Someone go to Genesis, there's no G. There's no J. It's Gimel. Genesis chapter 49. I want you to read verses 8, 9, and 10. Actually, the foundation. Read verses 1 and 2 first. This is on record. We did it privately, now we're going to do it globally. Genesis chapter 49, verses 1 and 2 first.
And Yaakov called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
When are the last days? Right now.
Okay.
Newsflash for those who are watching the recording or joined us live. You're in the last days. These are the last days. Check out the power. Someone gave that to Yaakov. You're speaking now over 4,000 years ago. He gathered his sons together and said, let me tell you what's going to happen to your future. The tribal, because you're all tribal. In the last days, you know what's powerful? Read verse 2, please.
And I quote, Gather yourselves together and bear, ye sons of Yaakov,
Goodness gracious.
and hearken unto Yeshua Yahweh, your father. End quote.
Now read verse 8. Because now, see, Judah was chosen. Judah was the tribe that was chosen to rule the other 11 tribes. That's where the king comes out of. Supposedly. Read verse 8, please.
And I quote, Yehuda, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
See? That's rulership. That's king. And what?
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemy.
And that hand is right here today, too. Right in the neck of the enemy in a state called Florida. The enemy's head is in Washington, D.C. That's the head. That means the neck is got to be long. The longest state where the head is on the East Coast is Florida. And that's where the hand is of your warfare. And the neck of thine enemy. What else?
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Even in the last days. Don't forget the last days. And what else?
Verse 9.
Verse 9.
Yehuda
Mm-hmm.
is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion.
In the same neck of the enemies in the same land, there was also a supplement. That supplement is found in Micah chapter 5 and verses 7 and 8. Make a note and read it. The lion's whelp in the wilderness among the beasts of the forest. And Micah, the book called Micah, is the only place where that is supplemented as a lion. A lion's whelp. Not the book called Judges, but Shimshon was, who found on the carcass of a lion, a beehive. What else?
And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
That should not be a question. It was they placed a question mark there. That's not a question. Because who is here rousing them up? Verse 10.
Verse 10, and I quote, the scepter shall
The ruling iron, the rulership, the scepter, the ruling rod. They have a scepter. The House Speaker has one. Where the enemy is, in Washington District of Columbia, they have a scepter there. Whoever holds that scepter rules the House, known as the House Speaker. They have one in Parliament in London. And they also have, I saw it myself in the Bahamas, and Nassau, right on Parliament Street, the scepter. Right on Bay Street and Parliament Street. The scepter where the House is, the Parliament Assembly. The Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the capital. Shall not depart from who? Judah, Yehuda.
from Yehuda, not a lawgiver,
Not or neither.
nor a lawgiver,
Nor.
from between his feet, until Shiloh.
What's the feet? The feet. See, it all goes together. You cannot have a hand without the feet. You cannot. You cannot have a hand without the feet unless someone chop off the hand. Now, some people are born without any hands and feet. They're born that way. But not Shiloh. Shiloh's going to be born or come out of the womb. He's not born. He comes out of exits a womb with hands and feet. Physically. But allegorically and metaphorically, Shiloh is coming for his feet. As the hand of his father, Yehovah. So what's the feet? Look it up. Go to Strong's H. This is school. Get your concordance. And I believe that in Strong's H, you get the literal feet. In Strong's H 72 as in 27 backwards. As in September 27 and October 27, when the Ark came out and the sun came out on that date of their calendar, September and October. Like scepter. What do you have? Since the 72, Strong Concordance. What do you have? You found it?
H7272.
What's the
from
meaning?
exhaustive.
What's the Hebrew word?
Regel.
Regel. Resh. What's the meaning?
A foot.
A foot. And that's what we gave them. We put a foot in their minds and their heart and their hearts. A foot. But that's not where they come from. They come from Shiloh. The true meaning was hidden in Shiloh. Shiloh is also spelled with Mem. So now you got to go to H47. 72, I believe it is. Is that what I told you to keep right? Is it 47? So now look up 4772 on your strong concordance, even the Hebrew Chaldean lexicon, and I guarantee you this word begins with mem. You got it?
Can 4772, it says Marga.
Magah. Begins with mem.
Mem.
What's it mean? The meaning?
Denominated form 7272. Plural for collective.
Wait.
aid.
Say it again. You have
Plural for collective.
plural for collective. That's hidden under feet. F-E-E-T. As in a few from the east, from everlasting, the truth. F-E-E-T. The few, the elect, the few, from the east, with everlasting of the truth. That must be also going to be students and people from the lump, the new lump. And what else it has?
And
See, there's one particular meaning that I know is there. I want you to say. I know it's there already. Let's see.
foot piece.
What?
A foot piece.
That's not the one.
At the foot.
At the what?
At the foot.
Now that means someone's going to be at the feet, at the foot. At the foot means it would be from Judah, because Judah's place is the bottom, at the bottom of the foot. Deuteronomy 28 is in there. And what else is it? Huh?
Feet.
The feet. What else? Now, if you look at your lexicon, you got to go to the Chaldean lexicon.
The foot itself.
Okay. Keep going. Oh, I know it's there. And somewhere now you have to get that. You're in the James Strong's Concordance, which is good. That's the most popular, the most reliable, the most transliterated from the original Hebrew. But if you look deep down inside the archives of antiquity, go to the ant. Go to the ant, antiquity. They went over. See, they thought it was ant. For those who didn't know, they thought it was ant, A-N-T. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, and be wise. An ant, a little ant cannot teach you to be wise. But all the wisdom is hidden in antiquity, which is an abbreviation of ant. A-N-T is the abbreviation of antiquity. If you go there, you're going to find out that this feet represents a place where he's going to be. You do it. That's your home learning assignment. I guarantee you. I know it. I studied it. My aunt showed it to me. I read all his books. He showed it to me. It's there. When you look up feet, it's going to take you to the Hebrew word that begins with mem, and then it's going to take you to the meaning that it is a place where the people are going to be gathered. That's why I want you to read the next line of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10. Read it again, Genesis 49, 10.
And I quote, "The scepter shall not depart from Yehudah,
Right.
nor a lawgiver from between his feet."
See, it's going to be between the feet. It's going to be between that place and this place. From the Middle East to this place where we are today, it's going to be between. In between there, that means a place in between. He will be in between those. He will be between Ephraim and Yosef, Judah and Jacob. He will be between there, in a place. Because what?
Until Shiloh
Until
comes.
Shiloh come. And when he comes, what's going to happen?
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Period.
End quote.
Torah. Thank you. You got that? So who is Shiloh? See, now they said here, you have your concordance out. Now go to H7886. Who is Shiloh? The Strong's Concordance, reference H 7886, law students. Why are you looking them up? Why do I have you looking these up?
Strong.
Because you're in the middle of a trial. Hold it. You are in the middle of the trial. I'm on the bench. The witness is on the stand, the star witness of the prosecutor. Now we have the defense lawyer in cross-examination. Don't forget, as a defense lawyer, you are not allowed to lead the witness of the prosecution or the opposing counsel. As a cross-examining attorney or lawyer, no attorneys, as a cross-examining lawyer, you are not allowed to lead the opposing counsel's witness. How do you do that? By leading them on, for example, tell us, when did you pick up the slaves on the west shores of Africa, in Egypt? Well, it was sometime around 15th to 16th century. Objection, leading. Your Honor, that's my witness. Leading. Objection sustained. Rephrase your counsel. Rephrase your question, counsel. Your Honor, move to strike. Whoa, now you're in trouble. It's so stricken. Just strike that from the record, that answer. Did they answer it? Did they answer the question? If they didn't answer the question yet, objection, you got to catch it. You got to catch it. If you don't want that to go against you, you better catch it. Because if they answered, well, it was sometime around the 16th century, objection, leading. Objection sustained. Your Honor, I like to have that stricken from the record. It is so stricken, erase, strike that from the record. You can't even mention 16th century anymore. That witness cannot. You're in trouble. That's your star witness, John Hawkins. Sir John Hawkins. So what do you do as a cross-examining lawyer? You ask that witness that belongs to the opposing counsel, isn't it true, Mr. Hawkins? Isn't it true that during the 16th century, you approached some elders of Israel from the tribe of Judah on the west shores of Africa, near Egypt? Isn't that true? Yes. Isn't it also true that you greeted that elder of Hebrew, those elders with Shalom, which is the native tongue of the elders of Israel? That's correct. It's true. Isn't it true? Yes, it's true. And isn't it also true that you tricked them into going on a travel journey with you on that ship? The good ship Jesus. Isn't that true? Yes, it's true. Isn't it also true that you're a devil? Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant. No, Your Honor, I'm going to prove my relevancy. This man's a devil. He's a devil. Counsel, we're headed with this. Your Honor, I'm just going to simply prove that Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9 is the truth. Now you got to look it up. Your Honor, I like to refer to Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. Prosecutors, any objections? No objections, Your Honor. You may refer to it. Your Honor, and when I refer to this, I want to enter this as defense exhibit A. Well, you look it up first, see if you can find it before I make my ruling on that. And you don't have your concordance. You don't have no material to look it up. Your Honor, may we have a short recess so I can go to the library? No, denied. Continue. You had time to do that. So look it up. Did you find it? No, you didn't find it, but it's there. That the foot, these feet, is a place. Who is Shiloh? Now look it up. H7886. Look it up. What you found? Did you find it?
Yeah.
Strong. What you found? Say it. Help me, please. Hold on.
Strong's 8.
Hold the mic for him, please, so we can be heard. All this heard.
Strong's H 7886.
What do you have? What's the Hebrew word?
Shiloh.
Shalom.
Shiloh.
Shalom.
Shiloh.
Shalom. What?
Tranquil.
Begins with Shin. Is what?
Shiloh Lamed He.
Okay. Shin. Yod Lamed He. Okay. From right to left. And what? What's it mean?
Tranquil. And epithet.
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 The epithet of what?
Of the Messiah.
Excuse me?
Of the Messiah.
Shiloh is an epithet of the Messiah.
An epithet of the Messiah.
Goodness. So in other words, when the Messiah comes, the people are going to be gathered together. And to him shall the gathering of the people be, that Jacob told Yehuda. That means the Messiah is going to come from out of Yehuda, from between the feet, according to Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14. Make a note. Hebrews 7:14 is confirmed. Right? So that means he's also going to be what? The judge. The judge. So where will you find him where he would be the judge in what book? The book of Judges. So I turn to the book called Judges. And let us see and prove who Shiloh is. Where it was hidden and sealed in chapter 18. See how simple? Make it wise and simple. Judges chapter 18. Read verse 1. Now you may have to hold a microphone for the person. And don't choke the microphone. Judges chapter 18, read verse 1, please.
Judges 18:1. In those days there was no king in Israel.
Judges chapter 18 and verse 1.
In those days
Did you know that it was there? There was no king in Israel? I mean, in the days when Shiloh come, they won't be in Israel. You didn't know what that meant. Since Shiloh coming from Judah, you just read in Genesis chapter 49 that Shiloh come from Judah. Where's Judah? Judah's not in Israel. So who in hell is Benjamin Netanyahu? Oh, he's a prime. He's a prime of the Vatican, of a minister. He come from the Vatican. They're all devils. That's why he's called prime minister. All, newsflash, all prime ministers are false. They come from the devils, the Vatican. And they are in the prime of your life every Sunday. For my people go to church, to listen to a minister, they're in the prime of your life. In those days, there was no king in Israel because the king was already in the United States. And what else?
and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them an heritage to dwell in. For unto
And the Danites over there now. Because there's no king over there. Jew's not over there. And what?
For unto that day all their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel.
Wow. Goodness gracious. See, that means in order to be a judge, you must be in a book called Judges. But how many judges are there? One. That's because others wished that they were Shiloh. But they are, in a way, they are Shiloh, but not with the I-L-O-H. They are with the A-L-L-O-W. They are shallow. Their minds are shallow. They have a shallow mind. That's why it's called the skull. The valley of dry bones. Their minds are shallow. There's no meat in it. No knowledge, no meat, no daily bread. No meat. She's doing a great job of reading. Turn to Jeremiah chapter 26. You're going to find out what happened to Judah. Where is the king? Would you read beginning at verse, for the sake of time, 26? Read verse 1. Get the foundation. Let's get the foundation.
In the beginning of the reign of
Jehoiakim.
the son of Yahshua,
Yahshua, he's here too.
king of Judah,
Yes, he was a king of Judah.
came this word of the Lord, saying,
Uh-huh.
Thus saith the Lord, stand in the court of the Lord's house.
Wait, stand in what? The court. Order in the court. Order in the court. Of Yehoshaphat's house. Order in the court. What else? Of his house. And do what?
And speak,
Uh-huh.
and speak unto the cities of Judah, which
Okay.
come to worship in the Lord's house, all the words that I
How many of the words?
all the words
And what?
that I command thee to speak unto them, diminish not a word.
Diminish not a word. Okay. Hold it. If so be they would hearken and turn every man from his evil way, and I may repent me of the evil which I purpose to do unto them because of the evil of their doings. And thou shalt say unto them, here's what I'm going to say. Today, globally, thus saith Yehoshaphat, if you will not hearken to me, Memyod, to walk in my Memyod law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants, the lawyers, and the prophets, the lawyers, whom I sent unto you, both rising up early for the 9 o'clock session and send them out of the chambers, even to deliberate and to get depositions, to hearken, look for witnesses. But ye have not hearkened. Then will I make this house like Shiloh, and will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. So the priests and the prophets and all the people heard Yirmiyahu speaking these words in the house of Yehoshaphat. And now it came to pass, when Yirmiyahu had made an end of speaking all that Yehoshaphat had commanded him to speak unto all the people, that the priests and the prophets and all the people took him, saying, thou shalt surely die. Who do you think you is? Who do you think you are? Why hast thou prophesied in the name of Yehoshaphat, saying, this house shall be like Shiloh, and this city shall be desolate without an inhabitant? And all the people were gathered against Yirmiyahu in the house of Yehoshaphat. You want to know something else? That's chapter 26. Go on, stroll on down. That was verse 9. Look at verse 17. Then what? Then rose up certain of the elders of the land and spake to all the assembly of the people, saying, look who Shiloh is. Micah the Morostite prophesied the days of Hezekiah, king of Yehudah, and spake to all the people of Yehudah, saying, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, Zion should be plowed like a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house, and the high places of a forest. Did Hezekiah, king of Yehudah, and all of Yehudah put him at all to death? Did he not fear Yahweh, and besought Yahweh, and Yahweh repented him of the evil which he had pronounced against them, even the recording in 1992. Repented him. Thus might we procure great evil against our souls. He repented. He said, ooh, because Mordecai said some evil things against him. And I repented him. So who is Shiloh? Go back to Judges now, chapter 18. All right? Read verse 8. Well, you left off at verse what? Did you read verse 2? Read verse 2. Read verse 2. Let's see who Shiloh is. They never knew this.
The children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coast, men of valor.
Men of Valar, I mean, the warriors were they, like a special task force. Yeah, they didn't play. Navy SEALs. And what?
From Zorah and from Ishtar, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said unto them,
What?
Go, search the land. Who, when they come to Mount Ephraim, the house of Micah, they lodge there.
Whoa. They came to the house of Micah. Read verse 8, please.
And they came unto their brethren to Zorah and Ishtar, and their brethren said unto them, What say ye?
Read verses 8, 9, and 10 together.
And they said,
What?
Arise, that we may go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are ye still? Be not slothful to go, and to enter to possess the land.
Right.
When ye go, ye shall come into the people secure, into a large land, for Yod hath given it into your hands, and place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth.
Wow. That land is Shiloh. Turn to John chapter 5. Who is the judge? Who is Shiloh? It says Shiloh is the lawgiver. Who is Shiloh? Shiloh is one who judges. Shiloh is the one judge, one judge. And who is that? It's not a question. It was who appointed him. Not a question. Turn to John chapter 5 and see for yourself. You read, we're going to read together from verse 12. Start at verse 12.
Then asked they him, What man that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk?
Walk. You got to walk towards the bar exam. We get ready to take the bar exam. Read verse 13, please.
And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Memiokoth Yodhewaphe said, had conveyed himself away.
He conveyed himself away. Hid himself. Ran. I mean, he didn't run, he just hid himself.
And multitude being in that place.
Yeah, he hid from all those.
Afterward, Memiokoth Yodhewaphe findeth him in the temple and said unto him,
Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee.
The man departed and told the Jews that it was Memiokoth
Told the Yehudites.
which had made him whole.
Wow, that's power. Read on, verse 16.
And therefore did the Yehudites prosecute Memiokoth
You
Yodhewaphe.
want to know what? And because they did that, you know what they want to do? They even said, you got to get out of here. You know, you're not welcome to come anymore. You have to leave. Get your stuff. We don't want you back in here. You got to leave, nigga. And then what?
And sought to slay him.
You think we should kill him? No one will know. It's dark. No, we better not. We better check first. See if it's okay. Why? Because what?
Because he had done these things on the seventh day.
On the seventh day? I mean, is it a coincidence that today is our seventh day? Right? Read on, verse 17.
But Memiokoth Yodhewaphe answered them,
My father, my arm worketh hitherto, and I work today. Verse 18.
Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him,
Why?
because he not only had broken the Sabbath,
For what?
but said also that Yod was his father.
Oh my goodness, you're the author. Can you imagine? Making what?
Making himself equal to Yod,
Wow, equal with.
with Yod.
Read verse 19. Can you imagine? This is past, present. What else? Verse 19.
Then answered Memiokoth Yodhewaphe and said unto them,
Verily, verily. That's two. That's both. Verily, my Father, verily, myself, I say unto you. The Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do, the Ab do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. Who is like Yodhewaphe? For the Ab, the Father loveth the Son. Aman, Ahab the Son. Aman, these words. The Father, Ahab the Son, Bethel Sophie, and showeth him all things that himself doeth. Show me someone else who can do it, who does. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Because no one knew what the beam and the mote is. And he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. And I believe that has come to pass. For as a father raises up the dead and quickeneth them, even the Son quickeneth whom he will. Even so the Son. For the Father judgeth no man, I repeat. The Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son. All of it. That all men should honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. Should honor Beth Lucifer as they honor Yodewave. He that honoreth not the Beth Muso feet, the Son, honoreth not Yodewave, the Father, which has sent him. How could the Father send himself? How could the Son send himself? Now let's prove it. Who is the judge? Now go back to Matthew, as we did yesterday, as we get ready to call it a week. This is our last day of the week for us, of our University of Shiloh. Go back to Matthew chapter 7, and again, again, today, we're going to read verse 1, again. Now you're going to get a more appetizer of the course meal, the entree. Read verse 1.
Judge not, that ye be not judged.
You got it? I just told you why. You didn't know it yesterday. That's why. You cannot judge. Because I gave the judgment to the Son. So you're not a judge. See, if you go backward, you go from right to left, that's judge. That's not a judge. Judge not be ye that, not judged. You gotta go backwards. From right to left. You're not a judge. There's only one judge. You know, and the reason why you can't see that is because it was there all the time, but you couldn't see it. Read verse 2 and see why.
For with what judgment ye judge,
Do you know how to judge? Here's what?
ye shall be judged.
You got it? And what else? Here's your introduction. In my Bible is a colon. Intro, read.
And with what measure ye meet, ye shall be measured to you again.
That is not a question because it begins with what? With me. Here we are right now. You're meeting with me. Right? It says me right here. Of the truth in the east. From the east. But it's still in the east. We are from the east and in the east. That's why you have EE. Another reason why you have EE. You're from the east, in the east. What? From the Middle East, in the east of the United States. Two E's. Two E's. That we meet now again. Meet. It shall be measured unto you again. Wait, that means you were here before. Verse 3.
And why beholdest by the mote
Now, what's the mote? That's in what?
that is in thy brother's eye?
Now, go to your notes from yesterday. What's the mote? See, you know what the mote is. But what? But consider it what?
But considereth not the beam that is in thy own eye.
Now, what is the eye? See, you have to, before you could answer this and learn this, because we're going to the bar exam. Right? So what, now that we're going to the bar exam, what is the mote? Go to your notes. Is the what? What's the reference? Strong's Concordance. It begins with... Read it. Age 4130. Go to your notes. Why you... Wait, if you're forgetting, you don't want to take the bar exam? You don't take the bar exam, you cannot become a lawyer. Because we get ready to destroy their law. Okay. What's it? Say it again. What word is it?
Strong's H4131.
Okay. H strong 4131. What is it?
Mote.
Mote. So they have it here in English. So you thought it was an English word, though it's Hebrew that's stuck in the transliteration. And what does it mean?
It means to
It means to waver?
to slip, shake.
Okay. So why holdest thou the application, the what?
To waver by application,
Uh-huh.
to slip, shake, roll, and carry, cast, the outer courts.
That's the moat.
In the cave,
Okay.
exceedingly, falling down, be removed, and then
See, in other words, now when you study this, you're going to find it. Well, how you know what the moat is? It's your brother's eye. You don't know what moat means. You never saw this word in English and don't know what it means in English, so how would you know what it means in Hebrew? It is Hebrew. They put it here in English to make it seem like as though it's an English word. So what is the eye? You go inside your brother's eye with a mote and don't know what the eye is, and your eye is in darkness. Your eye is dark. Or did you know that? What is the eye? The light of the body is the eye. It is. You go into your brother's eye that's full of darkness, and you don't even know that the light of the body is the eye. Go back to the previous chapter for a minute. Let's prove it. Go to chapter 6, same book, because apparently you forgot what I taught ye. See, what I taught ye. Read with me from verse 19 so I can remind you of what I taught you in verse 6 after I taught you how to pray. Matthew chapter 6, from verses 1 through 13, teaches you how to pray. We didn't get to verse 19? Pick up at verse 19, as I said, what? Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But I lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Verse 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. I repeat, the light of the body is the eye. You got that? If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is the darkness? So you in your brother's eye of darkness and don't know what the boat is. Now go back to chapter 7 and continue with verse 4. Now you know what the eye is, your brother's eye. I'm going to continue that. In verse 4, or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam of thine own eye of darkness, and then shalt thou see clearly in the light to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Praise the Lord. We will continue this again on Monday. At this time, we're going to thank all those who joined us as we invite them to join us in our session today. But you will not be invited on Monday. It's going to be a closed session because we're going to continue to take our bar exam. With that said, always remember that you're the warfare Habji, and so do I. The judge, Shiloh.